Three, two, one, go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards, a 2002 Game Boy Advance game based on the Battle City arc of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. In this game, we'll be taking part in a citywide Duel Monsters tournament, Duel Monsters being the real-life card game known as Yu-Gi-Oh!, with the goal being to collect 6 locator cards by defeating other duelists, which when gathered will reveal the secret location of the tournament finals. Unlike the anime, we take on the role of a classic silent protagonist, who just so happens to be best friends with the anime main characters you see here, Yuki and Joey. And we'll be participating in most of the major plot points in their place. The game of Duel Monsters is relatively simple. Each player builds their own 40-card deck, filled with various types of cards, the most important being monsters, which you summon to fight for you during the duel. For the most part, each player can only summon one monster per turn, and each one has its own attack and defense stat that they use during battle. When two monsters fight each other, the most important rule to remember is that the stronger one usually wins, with the loser usually being destroyed. If my opponent has no monsters left to defend himself, then I can start attacking their life points directly, and if their life points ever hit 0, then I win. This intro segment here introduces a lot of the important characters that we're going to see a lot more of later on in the game, but my very first priority is to go to the card shop as soon as possible and upgrade my deck. The starting deck that the game gives you is okay, but obviously the better our deck, the faster we can beat the duelist, so we want to go to the card shop as soon as possible to purchase some upgrades. Unfortunately, the owner of the card shop is a member of a group known as the Ghouls, a shady organization that's been terrorizing duelists and stealing their cards. So we gotta beat him up first before we can go and purchase cards to add to our deck. So this person I'm about to do right here, he gives us a tip about the card shop. And you'll see the game progress basically just like how I said earlier, just summoning monsters, attacking the opponent, and then when they're out of monsters, you can attack their life points directly. Just like that. Now, the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games like this one have an interesting mechanic that's not found in the actual version of the card game that we play in the real world. And I assume it's based on Pokemon because it has what they call an alignment system, where each monster has either an elemental or magical alignment, and each alignment is strong and weak against one other. So, for example, water beats fire, fire beats forest, etc., etc. And what that means is when you attack a monster who you're strong against, you win the fight automatically, regardless of stats. So we're going to abuse that throughout the speedrun. For example, if we know there's several forest duelists coming up with a lot of forest monsters in their deck, we'll make sure we have fire monsters in our deck to counter them. So yeah, get the rumor from that guy, and we can head over to the card shop. He reveals himself, the owner, as one of the members of the Ghouls, and challenges us, as you do, to a duel to the death in his basement torture chamber. Classic children's card game. Narcana is actually a pretty tough duel, kind of a big run killer, another reason why we try to duel him as early as possible. See, we need to draw some sort of strong monster, which I have not yet, but we will try our best here. See the alignment factoring in there. Shadow beats light, so we killed our monster without ever even needing to look at the stats. Lucky for me, I just drew Dharma Cannon, pretty strong monster in the starter deck. 900 attack points, should be big enough to deal with the vast majority of the opponent's monsters. So there was a tie in attack points there, or attack with defense points there. And now, right there, I did what's called a tribute summon. Certain monsters, like this Bolt Escargot that I have right here, are too strong to be summoned normally, and you need to offer up one or more of your monsters as sacrifice that you already have on the field in order to be able to summon. So that's exactly what I did there. He requires one tribute, that's that little number 1 in the top left corner of the card. Certain monsters require 2 or even 3 if they're really... But yeah, we have pretty solid board control at the moment here. Just trying to finish him off, but we're in no danger of losing at this point. And then after I beat Arcana, we are going to go and do some shopping, like I said. You're going to see me head over to the passcode machine
That's a pretty useful device. It allows us to input passcodes of actual cards. Each card in the game is a unique identifier, and basically we know exactly what cards we want to use from the game. So we can just input them to get in the shop, and we can buy them and get basically our perfect deck ready to go. And one more attack, and Arcana will be done. There we go. We do save him from the oncoming blades, but a mysterious hooded figure appears. We'll definitely learn a bit more about him as the game goes on. So yeah, like I said, here we're heading over to the passcode machine, inputting in a bunch of cards that we want to add to our deck. Right now, grabbing a bunch of trap cards. These purple bordered cards are trap cards, and they basically trigger when your opponent does something specific. In this case, it's when they attack with a monster, it'll kill them, all these trap cards that I'm doing. So the idea being that it'll clear the way for our monsters to attack through. We don't have to waste attacks clearing out their monsters because our traps will do it for us, nice and also grabbing a few very powerful monsters to make sure we have the requisite firepower to power through our opponents here. Cool. More traps. So now this game is interesting in that it has sort of an RPG-like mechanic where you can't actually use all the strongest cards right at the beginning. You know, you think we have access to every card in the game right at this moment at the passcode machine, but we can't actually use them all. I messed that one up. Because you need to have a high enough level to use the more powerful cards. Which means that the routing in this game basically becomes an exercise of how broken of a deck can we make without ever having to stop and grind for levels, because obviously that's going to take a long time. And some of the cards right here that I'm going to get are actually too strong for us to use at the moment, but we'll just purchase them, keep them in our trunk to add to the deck at a later point once I've leveled up. And I don't have these memorized. I'm reading these off of the screen off to the side. Just a few more. The maximum number of cards in the deck is 3, which is why you see me, for the most part, putting each of these codes 3 times. This card I'm getting right now is a pretty cool one. It's called Hourglass of Life, and it's a pretty weak monster on its own, but has the ability to power up all of the other monsters we have on the field. So it gives us the ability to fill up our board with a lot of attack points very quickly. This guy right here is Talons of Shirlane. We'll be seeing a lot of him. He's kind of our boss monster. He requires 1 monster to be tributed to summon, but he has a lot of attack points. He is worth it for the most part. Oops. I guess I messed that one up. And then we'll get 1 copy of a spell card, Monster Reborn. This is a resurrection spell, which is pretty cool because it allows us to circumvent the 1 summon per turn rule. We can really fill up the board nice and quick. So now we've added all those cards to the shop. Now we just have to go and purchase them, add them to our trunk, find them. And now we just have to go and add to our deck, taking out a lot of the weaker monsters that were in the starter deck, and replacing them with the cards that we just bought, and adding in, you'll see in a sec, some useful alignments for duels that we have coming up. Like I just added a bunch of fire monsters, because that aforementioned forest section I was talking about is coming up relatively soon. Just taking out all the weak cards, add in those traps we just bought, and some light monsters, because light is strong against Fiend, and Fiend is by far the most common monster type in the game. So it's important we have a good number of Fiend monsters in our deck to deal with that. So now we're going to head over and get our first Locator card against the zombie duelist Bones. Now, like most duelists, most of the stronger duelists in the game, they don't actually let you duel them until you've proven yourself against their lackeys. So that's basically what we're doing right here. I'm fighting against one of his lackeys. And then I'll be able to fight him for the glory of a Locator card. See Hourglass of Life here, doing what it does best, powering up my whole board. Nice and strong. Use a little Chimera here just to clear the way. And we can start attacking directly now that we've dealt with all of his monsters. So one thing you'll see me do a lot during this game, I'll do it right now even, is put a monster in face-down defense position. That's what playing them sideways like that means. And this is important because if a monster is ever in face-down defense position, that means your opponent will always try to attack it to see what it is, so we can bait them into attacking our monsters when we have a trap set up to clear the way. That way we don't have to waste attacks clearing out their monsters, our traps will do them for them. Do that for us. So yeah, now time to duel Bones, get our first locator card. Now his deck is filled with fiends, which is why these light monsters are so good. You see, weak 400 attack monster, but it basically wins against, everything. I'm gonna set a monster, bait out an attack, and then I will tribute summon for Talons of Shirley. Now Talons is a dream monster, which is weak against fiend. And you might be wondering, hey, why are you playing a fiend monster, or a dream monster, against the most, most popular type in the game, fiends? And that's because, just like setting a monster in defense position, face down, will bait them into attacking into our traps, so will having a monster that they think they can kill, like Talons. So by having a dream monster that they want to attack out, we can just get them to attack into our traps and clear them. Now we've gotten our first locator card. Yay, rah, rah. We'll go head over and try and get our second as well. Next one will come from Esperoba, the Psychic Duelist. See me use Monster Reborn here. They have a lot of Thunder monsters in his deck. I need to beat his little brothers first before he decides to come out and play. But they have a lot of Psychic monsters, or a lot of Thunder monsters, like I said, which means it can be a little tough to attack them here with our Water monsters. However, looks like it's been fine so far. Got double Talons nice and early, which should be enough to make. Nice and easy. Attack for the win with our good friend Doron right there. Doron's cool. He has an effect to clone himself, which allows us to get a lot of monsters on the board quickly, to tribute them away, power them up with Hourglass. So now Espa's, the middle Robo Child is ready to come out here, and we open Doron, which is great. Lots of attack points on the board very quickly from cloning himself. We have a Monster Reborn, but I kind of want to save it until we get a little stronger of a monster to revive. I'll bait out an attack here with the Key Mace, putting her face down. Now I think I'm happy to Monster Reborn. Oh no, we still got a weak one. That's okay, I guess. Now, you want to try and minimize the number of attack animations that happen, because cutting away to this screen right here obviously takes a good amount of time. So sometimes you'll see I'm not even attacking with the Steel Scorpion here, because he only has 200 attack, which makes me feel like it's not exactly try. And an attack that'll just... the time spent is not... Well, maybe if I was attacking with him this whole time, I would have been able to kill him, but maybe I'll draw a monster here. Okay, we drew Magician of Faith, and combined with the Steel Scorpion is enough to kill the opponent this turn, which is fine. Not exactly how you draw it up, but a win is a win. And now Esperoba will come out and challenge us, and we'll try and get our third locator card here. So, not the best start, not really any good monsters to speak of. Ah, and yeah, so we probably lose here, I think. I don't think I have any Earth monsters. I guess we need a trap to deal with the Jinzo. This Espa does have this very, very powerful monster, this Jinzo, that, as you can see, wipes out all of our trap monsters, which is not ideal. Just trying to keep the rest of his monsters off the board, I guess. But we'll probably lose here, which is fine. Just have to run back and duel him. And yeah, like I said, I don't think I have any rock monsters. But Widespread Ruin will deal with the Jinzo, and now if I draw a big enough monster, I should be able to take back board control and take the game. Just need to draw one before I die. We still have a decent amount of life points, 4,000 left against these weak monsters. Should be fine. Magician of Faith is not exactly what we want, but she is strong enough that his monsters can't attack over her, which I guess is good. And now we contribute it for Marinfin here. I would go for the Talons, but you see he has a Fiend monster there, the Bat, over on the right-hand side, so I don't want to just lose it immediately. Of course, he had a Light monster, too, to deal with my Fiend. So you can't win them all, but I think, yeah, here we go. Not the strongest monster you'll ever see, but 400 attack happens to be enough to do some good stuff right about now. And might as well tribute for... Actually, I'm going to bait them into my Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute's cool. Most of our traps only kill one monster at a time, but Torrential Tribute kills their entire board all at once. Very, very good, and is a great way to quickly kind of clear the path for our monsters to attack. Key Mace, yeah. Pave the way for the Talons. We just need one more attack. Obviously not the quickest duel, and we were definitely in danger of losing there for a second. I'm glad we were able to pull it out and lock down another locator card. Now, we're going to go immediately run and grab our fourth. Next opponent is Rex Raptor, the Dino Duelist. He comes with his own field power bonus, which we've only seen so far for Arcana. That's why his field looked different. Basically, certain characters have inherent power-ups to certain monster types. You see, obviously, Rex's board kind of looks rocky here. That powers up rocks and dinosaurs and monsters that he obviously likes to play there. Looks like we've drawn some pretty powerful monsters, and I have an Hourglass in hand here. That will be good to play to power up all of our monsters. We also have a Wind monster here, which is nice. He has a lot of Earth monsters in his deck, and Wind beats Earth, so he'll just be able to clear out the monsters without really having to worry too much about it. Now, you do see I have Bolt Escargot in my hand, which is a tribute monster. He's pretty strong, but unfortunately he's a Thunder type, which is weak against the Rock monsters, so it could be a little bit dangerous to play. I don't think I'll need to, though, because I just have so much attack power on the board with the help. Bait someone with the trap, and finish them off. And we've already got 4 out of 6 locator cards. Good stuff. Now we're going to go head over and get our 5th right over to the park. We're blazing through this tournament. Now this is that aforementioned forest section that I was talking about. Weevil Underwood is an insect duelist. They have a field power-up bonus, and everyone has lots of lots of monsters that are weak to fire monsters, which is good that we just drew one of ours. We'll be able to clear the way for everyone. And we actually have to deal, we have to duel all 3 of Weevil's lackeys first, before he'll deign it to duel. Might take a while, but if we just keep drawing our fire monsters, we'll have nothing to do. Now, a wind monster like Hane Hane here is weak to forest, so I gotta be a little bit careful with him, but we do have some traps to back. Not super worried. Be able to finish him off relatively soon. One more attack from the Bolt Escargot should do it. You can kill our Hane Hane all you want, but we still have game. That's one lackey down. Move over to the next one. And we opened a fire monster. That's nice. Now, fortunately, our biggest... I can't get around that. That's unfortunate. Luckily, we have Torrential Tribute, though, to wipe out the board. Always fun. Bait out their trap. Luckily, they don't have any traps that kill people, kill monsters, but they do stop them from attacking for one turn, so I'd rather bait it out with the weaker monster, like just something to do there. And we have the Unhappy Maiden here, to at least bait them into attacking our traps. We don't have the most attack points you'll ever see on the board, but trying our best. Alright, got Pot of Greed, lets you draw 2 cards, refill the hand, and we found an Hourglass to power up our entire board. Pretty good draw. Start getting in there with the Unhappy Maid now that she actually has some attack to speak of as well. And let's just be sure we can take them out here, power up everyone with the Hourglass, and there we go. Second Lackey down. You see the power of the Hourglass, though, right? Just give tons of attack points to our entire field, turns even the weakest of monsters into a formidable threat over time. Open to Fire Monster here again. Skull Angel's effect that I just played lets us draw an additional card. Good way to just kind of further dig into the deck for some good stuff. And we had a trap to protect it, and bait out a monster to let us attack with this big fiend, Orin. Now we can use Doron to tribute for Bolt Escargot, and we have a pretty much insurmountable board. Make quick work of this Duelist. We even have a couple Fire Monsters in hand for backup if we need them. Right now. And this should be game right here. And now we can go and duel Weevil for our 5th local card. Weevil's deck is very similar to his lackeys, just a couple slightly stronger monsters. You do have to be a little bit careful, but if we draw a Fire Monster, we should be happy. Didn't draw one, unfortunately, but Witch's Apprentice is nice and big as well. Let's bait out an attack with this Wind Monster. Wind loses to Forest, so he's going to try to attack us with his Forest monsters, just like that. Now we contribute him for a nice big monster like Talons of Sherman. People should be going down. Nice aim. Interesting, he had a monster that was strong enough. He does have a couple strong monsters in his deck. Apparently one that was strong enough to beat over my Witch's Apprentice here, but he had the trap in place to protect her. Ah. What a shame. Had the Infinite Dismissal. But one more attack should do it. Weevil is down. We've got 5 of 6 locator. So now we actually have a high enough level to put in some of those powerful cards that we bought earlier that we didn't have room for at the time. So we're going to take out those Fire Monsters. Now that the Forest section is done, we don't really need them for the rest of the time. And we're going to add Ancient Lamp, what I think is the strongest monster in the game. It's only a 900 attack monster, which means that it doesn't cost too much Duelist level to put into the deck. But it summons an 1800 attack monster for free, which is much stronger than we would be able to put in our deck at the moment. So basically, just gets us tons of firepower very, very quickly, and basically, if we draw it, it's hard for us to. So just doing some story triggers now, talking to people. We saw Joey Wheeler over there in the building, basically just letting him know that he's behind the curve on finding locator cards. We already got 5, of course. Then we head down to the bridge here, get to see Seto Kaiba beating up on a poor Duelist. Now we get to see another ghoul challenge us to a duel here. This is Strings. He's got kind of a hybrid Aqua Fiend deck, and we drew Ancient. So, just like that, you can see, pretty strong. Not only, not only does it summon an 1800 attack monster, it also is a spellcaster, so it gets powered up by these dark field power bonuses that most of the ghouls have, making it extra strong. Talons of Sherlane also gets that same power up. See 2 monsters with over 2500 attack. Pretty formidable, and we'll definitely be making it. More attack should do it. And there you see the power of Ancient into Hourglass of Life as well. The ultimate combo. Now here we learn the name of the Master of the Ghouls, Merrick Ishtar. Very ominous name, and we'll definitely be learning more about him as time goes on. Please move out of the way. And now, with that brief interlude with the ghouls complete, we're going to head over to the aquarium and try and get our 6th and final locator card. Now, obviously, as you can probably guess, the aquarium duelists are all based on water types, hence why you see the water field bonus here. Powers up Aqua and Thunder type monsters. And powers down machines. Luckily, I've already taken out all my machine monsters, so nothing to worry about there. I didn't want to. The Witch's Apprentice powers up all shadow monsters, which is good because Legend is a shadow monster, but Hourglass is. But it also powers down all light monsters, of which Hourglass is. So messed up a little bit there, but it's all good because we just tribute away that weak Hourglass for Talons. Now we have a double powered up Legend. You can see the Aquarium Duelists actually have pretty strong monsters. But at this point, if we get Ancient Lamp, they really don't have much to deal with it. Lajin is just so much stronger than pretty much any monster that most decks have available up until the very, very end game. So, unless they have a trap or something to remove it, which some do, it's looking pretty good, I would have to say. He had a trap for me, waiting for my Ancient Lamp. I guess it was strong enough to take on Ancient Lamp, but not Legend. A lot of traps only take on monsters up to a certain number of attack points, so that was probably up to 1,000. That's why Legend was able to get over it. No matter, though. You just continue to beat down on the opponent. And we've got Skull Angel here, which should be able to punch through for the win. So, Mako Tsunami is kind of the boss duelist of this area. And, of course, we need to defeat enough people here in the aquarium to prove our worthiness to duel. And we see him beating up on poor old Joey here. So we had to beat those two, and then the Joey and this other nameless duelist here before we can duel. And if we just open Ancient Lamp every game, then we're going to be happy. Won't be too much of an issue. Ancient Lamp into Witcher's Apprentice is pretty nice. Powers up herself and Legend because they're both shadow monsters. We got a trap here, which is pretty sweet. Use Doron to clone himself. They will probably attack him because Doran's not the highest attack point monster you'll ever find. But no, then we can distribute him. Talons. And it's looking pretty good. Yeah, one more attack should do. Now we gotta beat up Joey. His deck is significantly worse than most of the other Aquarium Duelists, so nothing really to worry about. He does have some interesting type monsters. For example, he has a lot of Dream monsters, which could be an issue. So I'm not going to attack. Didn't matter. His Dream does beat Shadow, so even if he has a little Dream monster. Oh, he had a Fiend, though. Deal with the Talons. Alright, here we go. Just drawing every Talons in the deck. Always fun. You dealt with one, but can you deal with three, Joey? Probably not. Use Legend to clear the way. Bit of a speed bump with losing that first Talons, but it's not going to matter. Here. Set a monster to bait out an attack. And finish him off. There goes Joey. Now that we've beat up everyone here, we can go duel Mako. He's got a water deck, as you would expect, similar to the Aquarium Duelists. When we drew Pot of Greed. Lets you draw 2 cards. Pretty good. And Dark Hole there wipes the opponent's monsters off the board. Pretty nice. We don't have anything super strong. I kind of wish I drew a trap to protect my monsters, but we got some good stuff here. Okay, yeah. We got Hourglass to power up one of the Dorons that survived. Another reason why he's so good with the cloning is it kind of guarantees you have a monster left over. Get him out first. Okay. Just try to get in with some weak monsters, put on as much damage as possible, and hope we can draw one of our stronger tribute cards. Now, Mako, you know, I talk about how good Torrential Tribute is. Mako actually is one of his own, so if he ever sets a monster, or sets a trap card, It's something we have to worry about. Looks like he hasn't drawn it, though, which is A-okay with me. You can see Bolteskar go here, got a nice field power bonus because he's a Thunder monster. It's one of the reasons why we kept him in the deck. Not only does it get a power-up, but it's also strong against Aqua monsters. Thunder beats water. And there you go. We got our final locator card, and we are ready to celebrate. We are qualified for the finals. Unfortunately, we go back to Yugi's house, and turns out in those 2 seconds since we last saw Joey, he's been kidnapped. Him and Taya have been kidnapped. And by the ghouls. They just claimed it. And now we have to go around and try and figure out where they are, what the ghouls have done with them, do some recon here. So basically, at this point, you need to go around the whole city. You can see the duels have taken over some of the usual duelist haunts. And yeah, we just need to defeat them to learn, hopefully, about what they've done with Joey and Taya. Now, these guys all have the same deck. They have the Shadow Field power bonus, as you can see, which is pretty nice. And their decks are all basically entirely Fiend monsters, which means if we just draw a single Light monster, even though, like Kime's here, it gets powered down by the Dark power bonus, it doesn't matter because they win all of the battles automatically. So, basically, draw a Light monster and you win, as long as they don't draw their Dark Hole, which, as you've seen, wipes out the entire board. But luckily for us, I think they only have 1 in the deck, so as long as they don't draw it, it's all good. And we're gonna have 5 life points left there. You do hate to see that, but it's all good. Finish them off just like that. So yeah, first cooldown, we just need to go and beat 4 of them, kind of scattered all throughout the city, to try and learn what they're up to. One at the aquarium that we just left. They work fast, man. Already kicked Mako and all of his friends out. Okay, so here's the plan. Attack that fiend. We can bring it back immediately here with Monster Reborn. And we even have a trap to protect it. Oh, that trap isn't great. It only kills monsters with 500 or less attack, so kind of has outlived its usefulness at this point, but we're not going to waste time, go back and edit out all the junk cards. It's just going to take too long. Magician of Faith here, Light Monster to power through the opponents. And we should be able to finish them off soon. Attacks here. It's the Aquarium Ghoul down. 2 more, and then we can figure out, what they're up to. Just gotta go cleanse the city of these ruffians, I guess. One hanging out down at the bridge. Ah, there's the Dark Hole. Fun stuff. Luckily, they've used it already, so no complaints here. And we have a Mask of Darkness to take back control of the board. And a Monster Reborn again to bring back the same monster. Funny how that worked out. And yeah, I'm just going to tribute here for the big boy. Bait them into attacking our traps, and he'll make very quick work of it. Fortunately, if we had a monster with actual attack points, we would have been able to finish them off that turn, but unfortunately we did not. But it's all good. Just a couple attacks from Talon, nice and quick. See that little jingle there means that we learned something important or progress the story forward. And the last one is chilling here at the art gallery, which has actually been available to travel to the entire game. We just haven't even needed to. Okay, so what do we want? Let's just set that. And set to tribute. Wipe out all the opponent's monsters, and then we can tribute her for Marinfin, who gets a field power bonus and should be able to kill him in 4 or so turns. Fortunately, little Chimera is not going to be strong enough to beat over their monsters, but it's weak enough to bait out attacks into our trap, so can't really complain, can we? And yeah, cool. Let that bolt escargot, tribute away for it. That is enough attack to deal with this ghoul. And now, after clearing out ghouls from all around the city, we learn that their leader, or one of their leaders, is chilling over at the park. So we're going to go there, see what he's up to. He's beating down on Weevil. Always a fun pastime, beating Weevil. And we're going to challenge him to a duel, of course, and hopefully he'll tell us something about what they've done to Joey and Taya. If you couldn't tell by his American headband, this is Bandit Keith, an American, a recurring character in the anime, and he's taken up league with the ghouls. He's got an interesting machine and fiend kind of hybrid deck. It's pretty cool, but he does sometimes run out of monsters. We might see that here. For us, we've got a big guy, and we just drew Ancient Lamp. It's been a while since we saw Ancient Lamp. Ooh. It's like they had an infinite dismissal to block my Leo Wizard attack. It's all good. Yeah, and you see here, ran out of monsters. Does tend to happen. And should be able to finish him off with another Lodgin. There you go. Poor guy running out of monsters. Now we ask him what he's done with Joey and Taya, and he says, "There's no way I'm going to tell you." So basically, that was kind of all for naught. We haven't learned anything, but we got introduced to some new characters, which is fun. We're gonna go back to Yugi's house, see what people were able to find about it. My Valentine is apparently the only smart person here. She realizes that Seto Kaiba, the guy who's running the tournament, should be able to locate any duelist just based on the tracking device in their duel machine that everyone has as part of the tournament. So we're gonna go find him. We're heading over to Kaiba Corp here. We have to, of course, beat his bodyguard in a duel for him to be willing to tell us what's going on, to prove ourselves to him. And he's just doing his job. Good bodyguard there. Lucky for us, we drew Ancient Lamp and Talents, so nothing to worry about here. Got Witch's Apprentice to power us up. All good. Roland's deck isn't too spectacular. Kind of like a weird air dragon theme, but at this point in the game, we're pretty strong, so not much to worry about. He lets us know that he doesn't know where Seto is, but you should go and try and find his little brother, Mokuba Kaiba. We're going to go head over the building, which is where we think he is. Just on a wild goose chase kind of at the moment. And looks like we came just in time because Mokuba is getting abducted and held hostage by a couple ghouls here. Their names are Loomis and Umbra, and they challenge us to a duel on top of the building in, typical dramatic anime fashion. So we actually get to pick who we duel here. Loomis is faster. We're going to pick him, and Yugi takes on the other one who duels him. And, their deck is pretty similar to the standard ghoul deck, just with slightly powerful cards, but they're all fiends, like I said, for the most part. So drawing a light monster is kind of, should be enough. Now, they're not all fiends, as you saw. Enough that light monsters are different. Marinfin's pretty good draw there. Power it up with Hourglass. Should be able to make relatively quick work. Get another light on board. Fun. Clear away the path, and next turn should be able to do him in. Nice and easy. Cool, so now after beating Loomis and Umbra, we've rescued Mokuba, and Mokuba can tell us, where his brother is. Maybe we can finally figure out what happened to Joey and Taya, where the ghouls were. Gotta squeeze through that door, not the easiest thing. But yeah, Mokuba lets us know that Kaiba, his older brother, is hanging out back at the art gallery. So we're gonna head out over there, take the elevator down. And now Kaiba will finally tell us, we'll track down Joey's dual disc, and let us know that they're at the pier, a location we actually haven't been to yet. We haven't discovered it. Which is a little sketchy, because no one really hangs out there. So let's see what's up. So we go over to the pier, try and find Joey, and get ambushed immediately by Bandit Keith again, and a gang of ghouls. So I'm going to duel Bandit Keith, and Yugi's going to take on all 5 ghouls. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. Sort of 5v1 duel, but you know, what do I know? Gonna bait out some attacks here with Little Chimera. And we contribute 4 Talons of Shirlane. They block the attack, which is kind of lame, but what are you gonna do? His deck hasn't really changed from before. It's still this weird Fiend Machine mashup. But we have a Talon to attack directly. I guess I could have attributed Volt Escargot there, but it's fine. And he's out of monsters, so it should be the coup de grace, as they say. And let's attack him with another Talons for good. Oh no. So we made quick work of Bandit Keith. Yugi somehow defeated all the other ghouls. And now we can go and see what's going on with Joey and Taya. If you haven't guessed by now, like all of Merrick's goons, he's mind-controlled them. Basically, if we don't sacrifice ourselves, he's gonna force Taya to drink poison, and he's gonna drown Joey, or something nasty like that. So Yugi has to duel Joey to try and save them, but he can't bring himself to, do that to his friend. So he is forced into the water, and we, the hero that we are, we jump in and save his life, and now we have to duel Joey to try and snap him out of this. Now, Joey's deck is slightly improved from when we dueled him in the aquarium before, but still not super crazy. He has a lot of high defense rock monsters. We drew Pot of Greed, so let's just draw 2 cards. Yeah, I'm just gonna get ready for a nice big tribute for Talons, because that's plan A for sure. Not bad. He's got like a fire and rock deck. Not exactly the strongest thing you'll ever see, but use Hourglass to power up Talons, beat her on this monster. Oh, cool. He was strong enough. Nice. And one more hit from Talon should do it. Just gonna set a monster, bait out an attack, and Talon should finish him off. Good stuff. And now we've beaten Joey, and I'm gonna pause talking for a sec, for a moment of great voice acting. Yugi, in a touching moment, professes his love for Joey, which breaks him out of Merrick's mind control and saves him and Taya. And we're all happy now. So now everyone is nice and safe. We still have our 6 locator cards, but Joey still needs to get his last one, so we're going to just wait around for a bit for him to do that. While we do that, let's go exploring. Let's go see what's going on at the art museum that's been pretty absent for most of the game. We get there, and some weird lady tells us she's got something important to tell us, so of course we follow her into the museum. She explains that she's got some important information about the ghouls and what they're up to, but before she tells us, of course, we need to prove ourselves to her by beating her in a duel. Now, she has a light deck, primarily, which means that if we draw any of our shadow monsters, we'll probably have a good time. Doesn't look like we've drawn any of them at the moment, but we do have Talons of Shirlane, who's nice and strong. And she doesn't have any fiends, so it should be a-okay for us to start beating in with him without worrying about having traps to back him up. Yeah, see, she has some pretty strong monsters, but with Talons on the board already, not super worried. We also have Ancient Lamp. Shadow monsters always beat light, so he's a great card to have, even better than normal, if you could believe that. And we should be able to clear her out this turn. And one more attack from Lojin should do it. And she's down. Now that we beat her, she lets us know that she is Ishizu Ishtar, Merrick's sister. She explains kind of the plot that he kind of went crazy as a kid and wants to destroy the world, and he needs the power, the combined power of the three most powerful cards in existence, the Egyptian god cards that he's trying to hunt down. She's in possession of one and wants to give us it, but wants us to prove our worthiness by beating Kaiba. Basically, the winner of this gets the god card. Kaiba's deck is pretty good, I will have to say. Got some strong monsters for sure, and he had something to do with our towns. It's not ideal. We're out of monsters here. Okay. Witch's Apprentice is interesting. Not exactly the beefiest monster you'll ever see, yeah. I would love to draw something useful. We might not have it, though. Need something to get us out of this situation. One trap isn't going to be enough. Unless he tributes for... I assume that was Blue Eyes White Dragon. We did not get to actually see it. But we clear the way for an Ancient Land. What a time to draw that. Heart of the Cards, baby. Now we have a pretty strong grasp on this duel now. With Lodgin, should be able to control the board. We do have to be wary of any dream monsters he might have. Green Beat's Shadow. But so far, obviously not the quickest duel. We were definitely in danger of losing for a bit there. But doing our best. Monster Reborn to bring back one of his. Give us a way to clear out battlefield stuff. And we should be able to finish him off next turn. Yeah, he ran out of monsters. That does happen. And there we go. With Kaiba down, we've proven our worthiness for Ishizu's Egyptian God card. Obelisk the Tormentor, which we will receive right now. Unfortunately, the God cards, while they are very powerful, they require 3 monsters to tribute, which takes a really long time. So in the speedrun, we don't actually use them. But we have it. Nice fanfare there. And now we've got a God card, we've got all 6 locator cards. No one is mind-controlled to our knowledge. So let's go back and see if Joey's gotten his 6 locator cards and if we can hit over. And that is the case. Now we put our locator cards together, and it looks like the location of the tournament finals is at the sports stadium, actually, which is pretty cool. We're going to get to see who else qualified for the tournament finals. We know it's me, Yugi, and Joey so far. Our friend Namu, who we met earlier very briefly, also somehow managed to qualify, although he admits he's not a very strong duelist. A little suspicious. Seto Kaiba, of course, qualified. We see Mai Valentine also qualified. Our friend Ryo Bakura, a side character. If you want to know more about, watch the anime. He also qualified. And we presume that Merrick Ishtar will be the 8th and final quarterfinalist. But he's fashionably late. You know, dude knows how to make an entrance. You have to run around, talk to everybody to get him to show up. Twice by accident. And here he is. A man emerges from the shadow. Tells us, my name is Merrick Ishtar. And now we have the 8 quarterfinalists set and ready to go. We go up into a blimp. Kaiba has spared no expense for this. We're going to be dueling up in a blimp flying high above Battle City. We get the first quarterfinal draw. It's Yugi versus Bakura. Not super important for the story, but Bakura has a Millennium item, just like Yugi, that gives him a crazy alter ego, as they do. They duel here. Yugi reveals that he holds a god card, Slifer the Sky Dragon, uses that to make quick work of Bakura. So, Yugi advances onto the semifinals. Now, the next quarterfinal is us versus the man who calls himself Merrick Ishtar. And he has a pretty much rock-focused deck, which is why we kept a lot of those weak wind monsters in for the whole time. If we draw one, we're in a pretty good spot, but otherwise, he's got a pretty strong deck. This is probably the second hardest duel in the game, I would say. And unfortunately for us, we kind of drew nothing. Luckily, we have some traps, but not looking too great here. Just gonna have to attack in with some very weak monsters. Just hope we draw something usable soon. Mask of Darkness isn't exactly what the doctor ordered. But we got one more trap left. Got him down to 5,700. Just need a Talons or an Ancient Land. Even an Hourglass, I guess, would be fine. Okay, Ancient. There you go. Right on time. And I guess we'll attack in with the weak ones. Might as well get as much damage as possible. He gets a strong monster, but luckily for us, Legend is stronger. And we finally drew a wind monster. I think we should have enough damage to finish him off here, yeah. Oh no, we're 50 short. You gotta be kidding. You hate to see it. It's all good. Legend's gonna do it for us. We take down the man who calls himself Merrick Ishtar, and if you couldn't tell, he actually wasn't Merrick Ishtar. Namu, our suspicious friend, reveals himself as being the real Merrick Ishtar the whole time. See, he's got a Millennium Mind of his own. He admits that he's been the one mind-controlling everybody. He's the one who wants to gather all the god cards. And the guy we just beat is actually his adopted brother Odeon, one of his lackeys, and he dumps him in the Shadow Realm because he lacks all empathy. Kind of harsh. What are you going to do? So yeah, we defeat Odeon, the fake Merrick Ishtar, and advance to the semifinals. The next draw is Joey Wheeler versus the real Merrick Ishtar, and you know, Joey's scrappy, but we've seen his deck. We know it's not too great. And he falls at the hands of Merrick's very own god card, the Winged Dragon of Ra. And Joey gets into the Shadow Realm. Right into a coma. Not good. If you couldn't tell he was evil by now, he just did some very evil stuff. So we know we have to defeat him and save the world. Now the final quarterfinal match is Kaiba versus Mai. No Shadow Realm coma action really in play here, just a standard duel. Kaiba makes quick work of her with Blue Eyes White Dragon, and she's defeated. Now, with the semifinals set, we have to wait till the blimp travels to another location, get a secret location for the semifinals and above. Wait a little bit, talk to everyone in that room, and we end up there at Kaiba Corp Tower, on a secret island off the coast of the city. The ruins of Kaiba's father's corporation or something. Very dramatic location for the semifinals. For those of you keeping track, the semifinals are me, Yugi, Merrick, and Kaiba. It's the four who have qualified. And this is where we will be doing it. First semifinal draw is, of course, me versus Yugi. Couldn't be any other way. To see who's worthy enough to travel on to the finals. Classic high-stakes best friend matchup at the penultimate step, I should say. Yugi's deck is very odd. It's kind of like a smorgasbord of random cards, is the best way I could put it. Kind of like it is in the anime. He's got some powerful cards, though. But we could just steal one there with Dark Hole into Monster Reborn. Pretty good stuff. Ooh. And he has one of his own. I guess he couldn't use the effect there. Not a super big deal. And we got Witch's Apprentice here. She'll power herself up. Not the strongest monster, but we'll try her best. Ooh, interesting. Okay. We've got a nice, strong monster there, but luckily ours is stronger, so we can beat over it. Nice and easy. And I'm going to set a monster here, just to bait out an attack. We'll be able to finish him off pretty quickly. Here we this guy for Talons of Shirlane. Get him down to 70 life points, so one more attack should do it. Yep, and we beat Yugi with his own monster. I think that's Beta the Magnet Warrior. Poor guy. But we defeat Yugi there. And as a reward, he gives us his very own god cards, like the Sky Dragon, which of course we're not going to use, but hey, you know, it's a nice gesture. And now we await the finals, for the winner of Kaiba versus Merrick. Kaiba always wanted to show off, debuts his holographic dual Coliseum, which is pretty sweet. And he manages to summon all three of his Blue Eyes White Dragons, but even that is no match for the Winged Dragon of Ra. Kaiba is defeated, sent to the Shadow Realm, and it's us versus Merrick Ishtar in the finals. So now Merrick's deck is really good. It's like a mishmash of Fiend, Dream, and Shadow monsters, all with powerful effects that can destroy my own monsters, deal damage to my life points. It's really not fun. And we didn't draw a very good hand, but we're going to try our best here. Alright, Pot of Greed is great, draws us 2 cards. Hopefully we can draw into something useful. Not something completely useful. But we can at least get 2 decently strong monsters here. Yeah, pretty good. No complaints here. Luckily, we can still get over his fiends with our light monsters, but if he draws a shadow monster, we might be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, just like that. Not ideal. And he's got Monster Reborn of his own. Not very nice. Okay. So we got Torrential Tribute, which is pretty cool. Hopefully he doesn't remove it. He does have some cards that can remove Spell and Traps. This is not ideal. Can't really do much here. But Torrential Tribute clears the way for us, which is pretty sweet. Ah, he's got a Torrential Tribute of his own. How rude. Just gonna have to go into Witch's Apprentice here, hope it's big enough. Ah, he stole it. That's not nice. Now we have no monster. We have none. We have no board. He's got he's got Magician of Faith though. Good stuff. Let's see. Okay, we drew an Ancient off of Skull Angel's effect, which is pretty nice. Is that going to be enough? Skull Angel can beat over the Unhappy Maiden. And Lodgin is pretty strong, can beat over Ryokushin Powered there. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. We might be able to pull this one out. Yeah, he's run out of monsters now. And let's finish him off with none other than our favorite monster, Hounds of Shirley. Alright, that was a close one, but we defeated Merrick. Time stops when we receive the Wing Dragon of Ra. Right now. And there we go. What a run. Very close duel there, right at the end. Merrick always gives us a run for his money. We beat Merrick, received all 3 God cards, saved the world, won the tournament. Joey wakes up from his coma, all that good stuff. And yeah, there you go. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards, and he percented 57. Oh wait, not bad. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.